Most weight loss journeys start with a sudden, intense spark of motivation. You see a photograph of yourself or a person in peak condition, and you decide to change everything right then. But that inspiration is fragile. It usually lasts for 24 hours before it fades entirely. Once the initial excitement is gone, most people fall back on the standard assumption that progress depends on an even split between a perfect diet and a grueling exercise routine. In reality, that rigid 50-50 model quickly collapses under the pressure of daily life. The actual math of success is weighted differently. Diet and exercise combined make up only a small fraction of the result, with sleep quality accounting for another portion. The rest of the equation is dominated by a massive 500% variable, the recurring difficulty of actually following through on your intentions every single day. Relying on pure willpower to maintain that consistency is a losing strategy. Mental energy is a finite resource. You can practice saying no to bad choices for a while, but eventually the fatigue sets in and your self-control evaporates. To see real change, you have to move past the idea of testing your character. Success comes from designing a physical environment where sticking to your goals is the path of least resistance, making it harder to fail than it is to succeed. At its core, fat loss is governed by a biological requirement. You must consume fewer calories than your body burns. When you create that deficit, your body is forced to tap into stored fat to cover the energy gap. The traditional way to manage this is through constant manual tracking. This involves weighing every meal on a food scale and logging every ingredient into an app, a process that is mentally exhausting and difficult to sustain long-term. This rigid approach often hits a wall because human metabolism isn't a perfect machine. Hormonal imbalances, stress levels, and individual metabolic rates can make standard calorie calculations wildly inaccurate, leaving you hungry and frustrated despite the math. A more resilient approach involves swapping out high-calorie, processed junk for minimally processed whole foods. By focusing on fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins, you can trigger a deficit naturally without the need for a calculator. Understanding the basic energy balance is necessary, but using high-quality food choices to manage your hunger is what makes that balance tolerable over several months. You can see the impact of these choices in the physical volume of the food. 200 calories of processed snacks might not even fill your palm, while the same amount of strawberries creates a massive volume of food that physically fills your stomach and signals your brain that you're full. You can further stabilize your energy levels by prioritizing protein and removing liquid calories. Sugary drinks are particularly dangerous because they provide a massive hit of energy without any of the fiber or bulk that makes you feel satisfied. Water intake is another mechanical tool for managing hunger. A lot of the time, the urge to snack is actually a misinterpreted signal for thirst or mild boredom. A quick drink can often eliminate the craving entirely. To make these choices automatic, you have to remove the friction the night before. Prepping your meals and setting out your workout gear ahead of time ensures that when you wake up, you don't have to spend any mental energy deciding what to do. Without that preparation, you're left at the mercy of your surroundings. You'll find yourself keeping junk food at eye level in the fridge, or stumbling into a high-calorie trap at a restaurant where every option on the menu exceeds your daily needs. If you want to stop eating junk food, you have to make it physically difficult to access. This means purging your pantry and ensuring that a lapse in judgment requires a significant amount of extra effort. Real progress is a result of aggressive environmental engineering. You have to restructure your daily life until healthy eating is the simplest thing you can do. After repeating this low-friction cycle for a few weeks, your brain begins to automate the process. Eventually, your morning jog and your meal choices happen without any kind of conscious debate. They become your default behavior. This chart illustrates why daily weigh-ins are often misleading. Your weight fluctuates significantly due to water weight or digestion, creating spikes that look like failure. Filter out the daily noise, and the downward weekly trend becomes obvious. The only other things that matter are your progress pictures. Seeing the long-term trend prevents the panic that usually leads to quitting. Progress is hidden in these averages, requiring a patient look at the data rather than a reaction to a single morning's weigh-in. You have to expect that you will occasionally mess up, A single meal outside of your plan doesn't ruin your biological progress. It really only becomes a major lasting problem if you take it as a signal to abandon the system entirely. As the physical results become more apparent, your psychological relationship with the process changes. The behaviors that used to feel like a chore begin to feel good, and the rewards of having more energy start to outweigh the temporary pleasure of junk food. Reaching this point marks a transition. The healthy behaviors settle into a permanent baseline, eventually becoming an inseparable part of your identity. Ultimately, physical transformation is a byproduct of behavioral engineering. By managing the environment, you make the physical results a natural consequence of your daily routine.